Greetings fellow snowflakes, this is part of my How to Be Human series where I look at all the different aspects of human relationships and sexuality and try to make sense of the mess. This is the second of two videos addressing polyamory specifically, and in this video I will be looking at some of the issues, difficulties and practical concerns of both polyamorous and non-monogamous relationships. The first thing I want to talk about is rules, boundaries and agreements. The excellent book More Than Two by Franklin Veaux and Eve Rickert, which I have yet to finish but did start reading last year, clearly defines and sets apart these three things: boundaries, agreements and rules. A boundary is something you make for yourself. It is about your choices only and should be respected by everyone you interact with, because it primarily affects your own consent and bodily autonomy. This includes consent for sexual activities, the decision to enter or to leave a relationship, and your needs and wishes with regards to safe sex. Everyone has the right to these boundaries, and anyone who attempts to force you, bully you or coerce you away from these boundaries is a manipulative, disrespectful arsehole, quite frankly. When things involve not just your own consent and bodily autonomy, but what you expect or need regarding the behaviour of your romantic or sexual partners, then we're in the domain of rules and agreements. More Than Two describes agreements as things that are negotiated by everyone involved and are always open to renegotiation, while rules are imposed by one person or more than one person on somebody else without their say and are not open to negotiation. There may be some occasions when a rule is called for, but mostly agreements are better. When something impacts on somebody else, then they should get some kind of say in it. However, rules are quite common in non-monogamous relationships that are not polyamorous, i.e. for casual sex partners on the side, or in tiered polyamory, where there is a primary relationship and other relationships are secondary or tertiary. However, even here, there is a point where the control of the primary relationship over the other relationships could become so unfair and intense that those on the periphery might justifiably wonder why the primary relationship doesn't just become monogamous after all. Anyway, it's fairly normal in unequal forms of non-monogamy, e.g. the open relationship or tiered polyamory, for there to be some non-negotiable rules laid down by the primary couple that all other lovers must agree to, whether they like it or not. In more equal forms of polyamory, though, agreements are better than rules. All the people involved negotiate and work out solutions to any problems that arise and come up with something that works for everyone. Of course, solutions aren't always possible in every situation, and sometimes people make a decision to leave a relationship instead, which of course is everyone's right at any time. See boundaries. Here's where I must confess that I have very little to zero experience of polyamorous relationships myself, and still have a lot of growing to do in understanding all of this stuff. But I no longer feel like monogamy is right for me, so I'm certainly willing to learn. People with more experience in polyamory than I, which is pretty much everyone who is poly, feel free to add your own wisdom, experiences and perspectives in the comments below. Let's talk about tiered polyamory. Tiered polyamory is when you have a primary relationship and relationships with other people are secondary. In fact, some people even have a third relationship level of tertiary relationships. The primary relationship always comes first in these situations. As with anything poly, if all the people involved are happy with the arrangement, then who is anyone else to judge? Good for you. If everyone is happy, then keep doing what you're doing. However, some people feel, or have found from experience, that it can feel pretty shitty being the secondary or tertiary partner, the one who has less say, the one who is always competing for attention and time with the far more important primary partner. Some, perhaps even many, polyamorous people feel that all relationships should be equal in terms of having an equal say, being treated with compassion and respect, taking the time to communicate comfort or support. People are important. They're not just toys. Everyone should be listened to, respected, and given the opportunity to voice their concerns and to negotiate on solutions to help them feel welcomed and valued by their partner or partners. However, strict equality of time or attention isn't always realistic. Some relationships have simply been around longer, or might involve extra responsibilities, e.g. a shared home, children, etc. And so obviously there are going to be situations where one relationship is going to take priority over others. That is a matter of time and attention, etc. When it comes to feeling like your emotions are respected and listened to, that you are valued by your partners, or having a say in matters that affect your relationship with somebody, I think you can see why a lot of people feel like they need to be an equal in those regards. I mean, we're all people. We all require and deserve a certain level of love and compassion. Taking on another relationship into your life doesn't mean you can treat that person like a disposable toy. If it's sex only, then fair enough, though you should still treat them like a human being with feelings. But relationships do require some kind of emotional commitment, even if you can't always promise that you can spend equal time and attention on them. Talking of time and attention, there are a number of practical issues that occur in polyamorous relationships, such as time management. Time doesn't have to be equally spent with all relationships, although that would be a good idea if there's no particular reason, such as living together or raising a family, why it would need to be unequal. But you should at least try to ensure that everyone is treated fairly in terms of how much time they can spend with you. Although I should perhaps add that not everyone needs the same level of interaction with their partners as other people might do. As with everything in polyamory, negotiation and communication is the key. But I guess that's what I mean by everyone being treated fairly. Don't simply neglect someone through absent-mindedness. Communicate and work out a situation that pleases everyone, as far as humanly possible anyway. But this is tricky, and it can be stressful, which is probably the real reason that polyamory is not for everyone. Not jealousy, like people think. Everyone gets jealous sometimes, no matter what the situation, and the best thing to do is to talk it over. No, I think the stress and hassle of managing so many different relationships at the same time is the real reason people struggle with polyamory, and it's not for everyone. Again, I'm not an expert. I have very little experience of polyamory, though I do have some, and I am still learning. There are more experienced polyamorous people who can probably add bundles more insight and wisdom than I could ever hope to come close to. Please, poly viewers, add your own insights and perspectives in the comments below. I suppose that's about it. I think polyamory can be wonderful. If we all shared more, then there'd be less lonely people in the world. I don't think monogamy comes naturally to human beings at all. We all desire and fantasize about other people sometimes. We all sometimes romantically fantasize about other people, especially if we're feeling emotionally neglected or misunderstood by our partners. And while I think that when a relationship is in trouble is the worst possible time to open it up to other people, nevertheless it can, generally speaking, be good to feel like you can remain open to other people and to seeing what might develop. However, there are pitfalls and difficulties, and polyamory is never going to be the right choice for everyone. Sometimes it is just simpler to have one relationship only, and the intensity of that intimacy can be amazing in its own way. Monogamy, though, can feel stifling, oppressive, boring, even unsafe for some people. And there are all kinds of situations where it can be unfair to dump all your needs and requirements on one person. Maybe everything is perfect except for the fact that you really need a kinky, dominant partner, and that's something your usual partner can't be. Instead of pressuring her or him to be more sexually dominant or more kinky, which isn't really fair, perhaps it would be better to find another partner that is kinky and dominant. A horrible amount of people in monogamous relationships cheat at some point or another. Maybe if they realised that it's possible to have more than one relationship or sexual partner with the full knowledge and consent of all those involved, then they wouldn't be a cheater, but would instead be a caring and compassionate partner of multiple people. Polyamory might not be right for everyone, but neither is monogamy. Anyway, that's all for this video. Next time I will be delving into the world of BDSM, or kink. Until then, we're all different, we're all special, snowflakes unite.